Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, very good morning.
I don't know. There might be some problem in laptop speaker.
Yeah, maybe the issue with the mic, maybe you have not set it up properly, so that's why it is
Yes.
not coming. No problem.
Yes.
Okay. So we will start with your introduction, then we can take it forward. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. I have completed my BTech engineering from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College, and from there I actually joined Alstom in 2007,
Can you
and
come
later,
closer to the speaker, the mic?
yeah. Now, sir.
Yes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better now.
Fine. So I have total 16 plus of years of mm, professional experience, and I have worked in GE and Alstom from 2007 to 2020, and after that I was in the production manufacturing project management role. I'm a PMP certified professional, and in GE last 2 years I was in the role of mm, side. I have worked in side, um, and right now I am in Rafsan Technology, working as a associate consultant, consultant.
Mhm. Okay. So Soumya, can you let me know how was the journey of like the end user and the consulting role? So what is the major difference you find in the consulting role and in the end user role?
Yes, sir. In the individual role, sir, what I actually I did the transactional based mm, transaction based things like creating the PR, PO, GR, GI, all those things. If their problem occurred during the that kind of stage, then I had to consult with the consultant. But coming into this consultant role, I can configure all those problem. I can give the solution of those problem which I actually faced being the end user. But now I know that the cause of those problem, and can solve those things. So this is the main difference I have found being consultant and end user.
Okay, great. So Soumya, what kind of activities you are doing at the time of end user, like for the end user perspective?
Activity, sir, I was looking after the procurement side, procurement side, making the purchase requisition, making the purchase order, good receipt, GI, all those activities, day-to-day transactional activities I used to do being the end user. And I was looking after the subcontracting, consignment, uh, all those things. Uh, so
Okay, fine.
this
So
was
Soumya,
my
can
role
you
actually.
just explain me the standard P2P cycle?
Sorry, sir, your voice is not.
Hello,
Hello.
am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now.
Okay. So can you explain me the process of P2P cycle?
Yes. In P2P cycle, sir, first of all, any department like production, admin, any department actually creates their requirement through the purchase requisition, and that purchase requisition come to the purchase team, and purchase team actually verify that for this requirement, if they have any kind of vendor assigned for that or not. if they have the vendor, suppose they have no vendor fixed for those requirement, then they send the request for quotation or RFQ to the vendor, mentioning their requirement, mentioning the delivery date, these things, and getting those quotation, vendor will send the price, and after having those price, purchase team will actually maintain and comparison those price, and they will note in the system. So it is the online process, and the offline process, this purchase team will inquire about the vendor performance, vendor history, how they are actually with this kind of business in the market, how is their reputation, how is their quality, how is their knowledge, all those things. So after having compared those things, they will finalize a vendor, and they will send the PO to the vendor. Now vendor will send the material according to the PO, because a PO is the official document where everything is mentioned. So according to the PO, vendor will send that item to the company with the invoice copy. Now accounting person will payment those that means payment to the vendor, and the store person will good receipt of the goods. That is actually, sir, complete P2P cycle.
Okay, fine. So, man, let's say we have a scenario like in our plant. Let's say our business is asking, like, before going for the purchase order, so there will be a like approval process will be there. Okay, for each
Hmm.
individual item, I can be able to approve the purchase requisition. So whatever purchase requisition is there, so that needs to be approved. Okay, so how
Hmm.
can you configure this one?
Okay, sir. I will go to the release order for the purchase requisition, and for releasing the purchase requisition, sir, I need to actually go to the purchasing and purchase requisition. There is a release strategy is there. So first of all, I would need to make the characteristics and the class, and then I need to set the codes from where the label, actually the label I will set there at the codes, and there is
So,
an option. Yes,
mhm.
sir. Yes.
Yeah, please continue.
And there is option. Yeah, there is the option to for the purchase requisition. So when I actually making this class, that means when I am joining this release order group and release order class, then there is option for tick uh, 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 for the purchase requisition. So if I tick that box in that area, and I had to tick in the document type for the purchase requisition also. So by ticking this tick actually in the document type, and here in the release class and release group, when I am joining all these two things, if I tick that, then purchase requisition tab will be appear, and sorry, not purchase requisition tab, the release tab will be appear in the item level when I am creating the purchase requisition. So by this I can actually configure the release order for the purchase requisition.
Are you sure about it? Will it appear in the item level or will it appear in the header level?
No, sir, it will appear in the item level, because uh, yeah, it will appear in the item level,
Okay, fine.
because if I don't tick that set, then it will only appear in the header level, and the header level release order is only possible for the PO, not for the
Which
purchase
indicator
requisition.
is that?
uh, Overall header indicator, actually.
That is over a
because
release indicator, not header indicator, right?
right, yeah. Overall release
Okay,
indicator, yes.
fine. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so um, Soumya, let's have you do you have any hands-on experience on the pricing procedure?
Yes, sir. I have
So
configured it.
can you explain me the procedure, like how the price will trigger in the purchase order?
Yes, sir. I can explain. Sir, first of all, we need to maintain the condition record in the condition table, and that condition record will actually maintain the access sequence, because access sequence will call those condition record from the condition table. Now after that, we need to actually create the purchase organization schema for the vendor, and we need to assign that purchase organization schema to the BP or the vendor master in the purchasing view. And we need to create the purchase organization for the schema, purchase organization schema, and we need to assign that purchase organization schema with our purchase organization. And after that, we need to assign this purchase or schema for vendor, purchase or schema for purchase organization, and the pricing procedure or the calculation schema. Okay, whatever we say actually. So assigning this purchase organization schema for vendor, purchase organization schema for purchase organization, and pricing procedure or calculation schema by this uh, assignment, and with the help of those vendor and the purchase or combinations of the material combination, the pricing procedure will come automatically into the purchase order.
Okay, fine. So while creating the pricing procedure, what you need to take into the consideration? What are the major things that you need to consider while creating a purchasing, let's say, purchasing procedure? Sorry, the pricing procedure.
Yes, sir. The main consideration which we need to take into the account, uh, we need to assign the mm, access sequence into the condition record actually, because this access sequence will call all those condition record from the condition table. Like suppose, sir, what I am trying to say, suppose if I want to call this condition record automatically into the pricing procedure or the PO actually, not pricing procedure, then I have to mention the access sequence. Suppose PB00, then obviously I have to mention the access sequence. But PBXX, it is the manual condition record, and there we actually don't mention the access sequence, any access sequence. We keep the blank there. So access sequence maintain is must thing, and maintain the condition record with the transaction code NSCE is a very important thing, or MEK1 transaction code. Ultimately, we call the all the condition type for which we actually want to maintain our output conditions. So these things are required, sir. And other thing is that yeah, assigning that purchase or schema for the vendor. So that number, it is a two-digit number. So assign that number with the vendor master purchasing view is a very much important. Otherwise, it would not fall into the PO. And sir, one thing I need to mention, where when we are actually maintaining the access sequence, there is a ticks are exclusive. Exclusive tick is there. We need to tick that exclusive button, sir, because by ticking that exclusive button, system will now understand that we need to find the tables automatically. What I mean to say, suppose if system don't find their condition record in the first table, by ticking that exclusive button, system will automatically come into the second table, and condition table, and it will search their condition from there. If it don't find the condition from that table also, then automatically it will come into the third table. So like this it will come, and when which table it will find that condition, it will pick up. So ticking that exclusive button is very much mandatory.
Okay, fine.
Yes sir, these things I can.
So let's say my client is saying they need to have a freight condition on the gross price. Okay. So how will you maintain that freight condition on the gross price?
Okay, sir. Yes, I have understood your question, sir. Maintaining the freight condition, when we are actually maintaining the freight conditions FRA 0 like that. When we actually go into the freight condition type, but by M/06 key code, then in the condition category type, sir, there is a delivery cost. So if we maintain that delivery cost in the condition category, then only system will allow me to maintain the freight charge actually separately. Going into the PO, selecting the freight line. If we go to the detail, then we will have a, section where we can actually change the vendor for the freight actually. Otherwise, if we don't maintain the delivery cost in the condition category into the freight condition type, then it will happen, sir. Then this freight charge will not be separate. It will mix up with the vendor who actually providing us the material. What I mean to say, suppose our main vendor who is giving us the material, suppose their cost is 100, and the freight vendor who will actually deliver the material, suppose his cost is 50 rupees. So if we don't maintain the delivery cost in the condition category, then this 150 rupees will uh, joining together, sir, and it will show 150 rupees single price, and which we have to pay to the main vendor. That time we cannot pay to the freight vendor, but if we maintain the that delivery cost into the condition category, then this 50 rupees we can divide and pay to the freight vendor.
Okay, fine. So, Somya, you are also aware of the accounting determination process, right?
Yes sir.
So, what is the requirement? Like, what is the necessity of account determination process? Why we need to have it?
To sir, find out the proper GL account or the specified GL account into the account determination, because mm, otherwise, suppose that system will not understand that for which movement type system need to post in which GL account. System will not getting understand. So for that understand to the system, make system very much clear and understand that for which movement type which GL account need to be post. For that account determination is required, sir.
Okay. So, how the system will determine the GL account?
Yes, sir. Sir, first thing what we actually do in sir, first of think we need to set an account category reference, sir, and that account category reference will be assigned to the valuation class, and that account category reference will be assigned to the material type. So assigning with A to B and B to C, ultimately we will be assigning A to C. Suppose material type to the valuation class, and in each material, a material type will be assigned to the valuation class. So, so sir, actually, what happens? There are two kind of uh, assignment is there, sir. Suppose a material is there, so for that material a movement type will happen. So when a movement type will happen for the GR or GI, any kind of thing, according to that movement type there will be a valuation string set. So that valuation string will indicate to the valuation transaction key, event key, that this kind of movement type has happened, and according to that movement type, this valuation this transaction event key will trigger to the GL account, that for that movement type this GL account need to be triggered or posted. So this is a one step configuration. Other step configuration, sir, a material, obviously a material will have to be assigned with the plant, and that plant need to that means that plant will be a part of the company code, and that company code will have some chart of accounts. So there is an different assignment, and that chart of accounts is nothing but the group of the GL account, group of some GL accounts. So there is an another assignment. So this is the first assignment, second assignment. So now with this there will be the GL account uh, with the transaction event key, and there obviously some account modifier will be there, uh, or the general modifier, whatever we say, to find out the different kind of GL account for the movement types. So by this configuration, system will find the appropriate GL account.
Okay, fine. So, um, can you explain me the process of consignment with the accounting entries?
Consignment, yes sir, I can explain. Sir, consignment process, in consignment process what happens, suppose we take the material from the vendor, but we don't know that when we are going to use that material, those material lies into company's premises or customer premises, but the vendor remains the owner of that material, still owner of the material. So whenever company decide to take the material from the vendor, company will just pay for those material only to the vendor. And when the material company will take from the vendor, they will settle the MRQ settlement to this replace those material again to the vendor consignment stock. So now when suppose now whenever company is taking the material from the vendor, they are mm, they are actually doing the GR with the 101K movement type, and after that GR, they are actually settlement of those material. Why settlement, sir? Because why not Milo? Why settlement? Because as I said, sir, material actually lies in the company premises, and company don't know when to use that. So every month, material price will get changes. So vendor side will tell to the purchasing team that this month material price is this month material price is this. So according to the material price, purchasing team will enter all those material into the purchase info record. So from there purchase info record, the material price will come, because in the consignment PO with the item category K will not found any kind of net price options. That means we cannot fill any kind of net price option there. So for that purpose, price actually come from the purchase info record, and that is why we actually do the settlement by MRQ, not Miro, because if we because Miro don't allow us to that means for the split type of settlement, whereas MRQ actually allows us to split type of settlement.
Okay.
By Miro we have to
So,
complete
you
for the
have mentioned um, after the consignment process, we have to do the GR with 101K, and after that, we
yes.
have to go for the settlement process. So, is it the correct process? After 101K, you will be able to do the settlement.
No, sir. After 101 K process, now we have to actually issue the goods to the cost center with the suppose 201 K like that, and after that we settlement by the 411 K. Uh,
After 201K, why I should go for 411K?
after 201 no sir, after 201K is a good issue to the cost center, and settlement is there sir, because we need to replace those material again to the consignment vendor stock. That is why settlement is required, sir.
Okay, fine. So, Somya, I have a requirement like my client is
And
having
sir,
a
accounting entry, whatever you are actually asking,
okay, continue.
uh, the BSX will be debited because the stock entry is actually happening into the so BSX will be debited, and KON, that means consignment liability, will be credited because the material is getting decreased from the consignment liable, and KON will be credited. And after MRQ settlement, that consignment liable again will be replenished, so the KON will be plus or debited. Now, as the vendor is giving us the material
When this
from
will
their stock,
be, when this will be triggering?
sir, when we will actually transfer the material by the transaction code MB1B, stock transfer, and with the movement type 411K, that
Mhm.
time it will be triggering, sir.
But you have mentioned 201K, right?
Yeah, sir. 201K if we issue then, but at the time of 201K there will be no, sir, no accounting entries will be there.
No accounting entries. Are you sure?
Uh, just when I am issuing the goods, yes, sir. When I'm issuing the goods, then there will be accounting entries. Yeah, yeah. When I'm taking the material into 101K into my uh, mm, storage location, there will be no accounting entries surely. When I am settlement with the 411K, there will be their account document actually gets generated. Yes, yes, sir. Yes. When actually settlement is happening, then only account document will be generated, sir. And when vendor will give us the material, so KBS account will be credited, and when we will payment to the vendor again, then KBS will be again debited, and the bank account will be credited. This is the total accounting entries.
Okay, fine. Okay. So I have a requirement, like my client has a requirement, like whenever they are doing the invoice receipt, okay? So
Okay,
for
sir.
invoice receipt, it should consider the like whatever quantity has been delivered. So that should check that one, and that should check the price from the PO. Whatever price is there in the PO, it should consider that one. Okay, while entering the invoice. So what kind of configuration you need to do for this one?
Sir, I didn't get your question properly. Can you please?
See, my client wants, so they are having a standard purchasing cycle. So at the time of invoicing, while they are entering the invoicing, or let's say the user is entering the invoicing, at that point of time, the invoice price should check with the PO price, and whatever quantity is there in the invoice, it should check with the GR quantity. So how can you achieve this one? What are the settings are required?
Mm, Sir, settings, sir, we need to first going into the logistic invoice verification, and from there we need to do the invoice incoming invoice actually. Then there we need to set the number assignment, and mm, for the invoice, sir, we actually use the document type RE for the gross invoice, and in control data, we actually take the negative posting and net document type, and in account type we actually take all those things like material, GL account, asset, all those things we actually take. Then in the second step, we said uh, select the actually transaction code myro, where we default check values as RE and RK. This is the default check value for the document type in the invoice verification. Mm, then sir, we maintain the number assignment and take the so, uh, most probably RD sir, RD type for the invoice. And sir, are you asking all this configuration? Am I doing right path, or you are asking something else and I am answering?
Okay, no problem. So time is almost over. So just connect for one more session. We will be having the outcome of this interview. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, just join back immediately. So, okay. So your resume is good. Okay, you have modified it. It is looking good. No problem. And we'll come to the interview part. So still you need to practice a little bit more. And one thing I would like to tell you, so be attentive to the question. Okay, what is being asked? Okay, in the every question you don't have to just answer on the configuration or answer the total scenario. Okay, that is not the answer. Every time you are not going to answer that. That will like that will just expand your timing. Okay, so you'll be having
Yes.
more time, so you need to have more time to explain all of those scenarios. Okay, so
Okay.
first thing is let's say your pricing. Okay, so let's say in the pricing, whenever you are explaining a pricing procedure, I have asked you how the pricing will trigger in the purchase order. You don't have to mention all of those condition record, access sequence, everything. That is the second part. Okay. First, how it is going to be triggered. So whenever you are entering in the purchase order, there you will be entering the purchasing organization, and there you will be entering a vendor. So vendor will be assigned to vendor schema group, purchasing organization will be assigned to the purchasing schema group.
Okay.
So
Yes.
with the combination of both, whatever pricing procedure will be there, it will be take the pricing from that pricing procedure. That is a simple answer. Okay.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you are going to elaborate it, if anyone is asking you how you can configure it or where you have to assign those kind of things, then you can go for the details.
Okay.
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 Don't go for the details in the single shot. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
explain it how it works. Okay. There is a process, like how it works and what is the configuration. There are two different things are there. Okay. Don't answer as the configuration. So if you directly go for the configuration, they will know that you are not actually having an hands-on experience. Maybe you have studied somewhere else. Okay. So don't go for the configuration part directly. Second thing, same with the accounting determination. So accounting determination, if anyone is asking you how it is getting triggered. So how it is getting triggered means whenever you are doing a goods movement, whenever you are entering a goods movement, at that point of time, there will be a movement type. So movement type will be triggering the transaction event key, valuation string, and there you will be having a GL account assigned to it. Okay.
Right.
Second part,
Right.
your material master, you will be entering a material. So material will be assigned to the account category reference, that
Valuation class.
material type and account category reference and valuation classes.
Valuation class.
And you will also enter the plant over the goods receipt or any kind of goods movement, you will be entering the plant. So plant will be triggering the company code, chart of account. This will be triggering. So with respect to all these three, chart of account and your valuation class and your GL account, which is assigned to the um, like transaction event key or movement type. So that will be all together, it will be triggering the GL account. So this is the first thing. Then you can explain whatever things you want to explain. If they're asking you how you can configure it or what is the configuration point, then you can go for simple kind of things like you have to define the evaluation area, you have to define the valuation grouping code, you have to define the let's say the evaluation classes, account category reference, those kind of things you can say. Okay, don't confuse in explaining. Okay, don't confuse in explaining, understand it in a simple way, explain it in a simple way so that everyone can understand. Okay, so don't confuse over there. And third thing, let's say for the invoicing process, I have not asked you the invoicing configuration, but I have asked you like my vendor, my business is saying whenever they are entering the invoice, your price should be price should be compared with the PO price, and your quantity will be compared with the GR price. What is this called? This is called a three-way check. Okay, so
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
you can just mention we can establish a three-way check in the purchase order. We can just select the GR based invoice verification. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that.
Okay, so we can
Okay.
maintain that GR based invoice verification. In the vendor also we can select the GR based invoice verification. So that's it. That is how it will be selecting the all of the requirement will be fulfilled. Okay, and
Okay, sir. Okay.
yeah, okay, and also with the release strategy, whenever you are explaining the release strategy, there you know the concept, you are explaining it, but you are missing the exact thing which needs to be mentioned, that you are like you are not mentioning it. You have to just mention that in the release procedure we have to select the overall release, we have to just uncheck it so that we can be able to release it on the item wise. That is what is the requirement. Okay, why this is like, why this situation based question are being asked, or why this question are asked in the interview, just to know if you are going to work in a implementation project, if you are good at let's say the requirement gathering, or how to like after gathering the requirement, how you can configure the scenario, how you will be map the scenario to SAP. So for that only your interviewer will ask you the question on this part. Okay, so you need to
Okay,
be
sir.
sure about those parts. So just listen to the question, then try to answer. Okay, and understand and answer. If you are unable to understand, then you can ask it. Okay, but don't ask the simple question, don't ask it. Okay, so you have to understand and you have to explain it. So I would say you have a good understanding, but you have to brush up a little bit more. Okay, just try to differentiate between things. Okay, and try to um, line a diagram with simple things. And same with let's say your consignment process also. Okay, so consignment process, there are two types of consignment process or consignment. Consumption is there. Either you can enter 201 in the let's say you can enter a account category reference, account assignment category in the purchase order, directly you can consume it in 201K or 261K, directly you can consume it. Okay, and let's say if you are going to take it to the inventory, then you can have an inventory like with 411K you can make a transfer
Okay.
posting. Okay, so
Right.
that you
Right,
need
sir.
to be sure. And for both of the entries, for 201K also, for 411K also, there will be accounting entries. If you are going to consume it, you are going to use it, right? So there will be a
Right,
accounting
sir.
entry because you are
Accounting
consuming.
interest.
So
Consume.
consumption account is GBB. So GBB
GBB.
will be triggering. Okay. So I
GBB.
believe that is VBR or something. The account
Right, sir.
modifier is there,
GBB clear, huh? GBB
right?
clear, huh?
So it will be
Right.
triggering. If you are going for the 411, then your inventory account will be triggering. Like you are taking the material into your account inventory. So inventory will
Account.
be debited, right?
Right, sir.
So you
Right,
need
right.
to be a little bit more like study a
All right.
little bit more into the tables and these accounting entries. Okay, just
Hmm.
try to practice like daily, try to practice 2 3 times all of these things. Okay, just go for simple things. You don't have to see all of those things. So first what you can do, you can just line draw a line about the pricing procedure. So pricing procedure, how it will trigger, and let's say accounting determination, how it will trigger, and let's say these business processes, let's say the consignment process is there, let's say the subcontracting process is there, let's say the stock transfer order is
Third
there,
party.
how this
Hmm.
flow is working. Okay, what is the flow? Just
Hmm.
line, draw a line diagram about the flows. Okay, at the flows, at the time of the flow, you can just mention what are the transaction event keys or what are the accounting entries will be there at the point of like whenever you are doing the GI or whenever you are doing the GR, what
Hmm.
will be the movement type. So mention all of those things in a simple diagram and understand it properly. Okay, so if you
Right.
understand
Right.
it properly, you will be able to explain it properly. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
so that's it for the interview. So you need to
Okay.
practice a little bit more. Okay,
Hmm.
and speak a little bit louder. Okay, speak a little bit
Okay.
louder. Your voice is a little bit low, so just try to speak a little bit louder. Okay,
Sir,
so
actually, what is actually happening with me, I can understand.
mm,
Suppose I know all this process, but when I am trying to explain, maybe I am explaining a little bit more, which is not actually required.
yes, that's what you need to see, because see, that is why I'm asking you to just practice on the line diagram basis or on simple things. Okay, just check a
Hmm.
flow diagram, check a line diagram. There you can mention like how this will, how the pricing procedure will trigger. So you can just mention
Hmm.
in the PO we are having purchase organization and we are having vendor. Vendor is assigned to the vendor schema group. Purchase organization is
Hmm.
assigned to the purchasing schema group.
Purchase
So there you
organization.
can just mention like it will trigger from that we are having a calculation schema. So that calculation schema will be triggered whenever we are entering the vendor and purchasing organization in the purchase order. That's it. Not more is
Hmm.
required. Okay. Then if you are going for the configuration, then you can mention what are the configuration steps are there. You can create a condition record, you can create a condition type, and you can mention a access sequence. So these kind of things you can mention. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So do these steps, practice it daily. Okay, maybe whenever you are practicing on a daily basis, you will be get a stronger at that. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Okay.
any question you want to ask?
No, sir. Sir, the answer I have given in the freight type answer, what you asked, is
Mm-hmm.
it okay?
Yeah,
Freight, how?
freight condition. You can see there is a simple like explanation to that. You can just mention that freight condition we can assign it the in the steps we can assign after the gross price we can maintain it. Okay, if it is in percentage we can give it as a percentage, if it is on a let's say price or value basis we can give it under a right like the condition type as a value basis or quantity basis we can also mention that. Okay, that is a simple step, you don't have to mention all of those things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir,
Okay.
in process
Hmm.
basis, process
Hmm.
understanding basis, how you will give me the marks out of 10?
So process wise I can say you are kind of 6 or 7. Okay,
Okay,
and
sir. Okay.
explanation basis you need to be a little bit more proactive, so I believe it is under 5. Okay, explanation basis
Okay.
means you are explaining but you are not explaining to the point or what is required. Okay, that's why it is under 5, but you are explaining it, but you need
Mhm.
not to be confused. Okay, your presentation skills, it needs to be improved, like you need to answer it in a simple way so that everyone can understand. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And fluency, sir.
fluency also you need to improve a little bit more. Okay,
Okay, sir.
fluency it is good. Yeah, means you are continuously you are explaining. Okay, in some point of time I can say you are confused, but overall you are explaining it in a good like good repo is there, you are explaining it good, like the flow is good, but still you have to explain it like with
Specific,
confidence.
sir. I
Okay,
have to be
so
more
confidence
specific.
you need
Yeah.
to develop a little bit more.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you very much.